Okay, you're live.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. This is a meeting of the Sleepy Hollow Local Development Corp. The date is March 8th. I'm Mike Dolly. First order of business is to take roll. How about the directors? Can you announce yourselves?
Anthony Scarpati.
Teresa Esty.
Teresa, hi. And we know Ken Ray will not be attending tonight, and I'm Mike Dolly. How about council? We've got
Mike Curdy, Harris Beach.
great, and staff.
Anthony Giacchi is on.
Joan
Yeah.
Bucci is on.
And Dan Breyer.
Hi, everyone. Great, thank you. Okay, we've got minutes to approve. We've got March 8th and March 22nd. I think we tabled March 8th last time. I can't remember the reason, but
Yeah, so move to adopt both minutes, the February 8th and the February 22nd.
Second.
great. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, both sets of minutes are approved. Moving on to expenditures, we've got a total of 366, 844.01. Any questions or comments on those? I had one for Joan. Joan, just checking on the security guard reimbursement. What is that? I haven't seen that before.
Right, so it's been a while since we had done it. As you can see, we went all the way back to June of last year. This is money that is reimbursed through our signature money back to the LDC, because the LDC's account initially covers the payroll, and then it's reimbursed back into the account.
So this is signature paying LDC?
Yes, out of the signature money to cover just the security guards, because that's under the
Okay.
East Parcel grant monies.
So that's a credit to the LDC bank account?
Yes, that will be, once I get that check, it's actually literally a check. I will deposit it back into the LDC account.
Got it. Any other questions?
I would move to adopt the expenses as outlined.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Great, thank you. Moving on to resolutions, we have one which does relate to one of the items on the expenditures, so Mike Curdy, I'm assuming this is the urban
Yes, so
Yeah.
what's before the board is a resolution authorizing an amendment to the existing urban strategies agreement. Right now, the corporation is paying urban strategies for $5,000 a month for consulting services. This would expand on the existing contract to include pursuing and coordinating funding sources for the Continental Street Bridge project. And it would increase the monthly payment from $5,000 to $15,000 a month, $10,000 a month being dedicated for the purpose of the Continental Street Bridge project and the funding they'd be coordinating.
So that I think everyone's aware, but just as a reminder, this is the additional 10 is for the specific effort to get hopefully tap into this bridge program, which offers upwards of 70% of the cost for a new bridge. So some of that goes to urban, and I think they have subcontractors up in Albany who they will pay out of that 10 to work that order for us, and hopefully that's successful. So that's the resolution. If there aren't any questions, can I get a motion to approve that?
Like, I have a question.
Yep.
Is there a specific new agreement outlining, what the endeavor will be, how long the project might run, what the kind of expectations are? Or is it just kind of open-ended and kind of go at it where?
Yeah, and they've estimated it, it's probably a 6-month project, but it's not certain, and they'll just continue to work it until we either the opportunity ends or we cut them off,
Right.
which we can do. Just to clarify, Mike Purdy, we can end this at any time, correct?
Right. It's under there's no change to the existing consulting agreement.
Right.
So we can terminate.
That do you, Anthony?
Yes, thank you. I would move to adopt the resolution to amend the agreement with Urban Strategies.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Resolution's approved. Moving on to the consultant report, Dan?
Yeah. All right. So first, just a quick update on where we're at with phase 1B. We're still suspended until we get enough fill to finish out the project. To date, we've still only received about 5,000 cubic yards, though it's looking like we are set to receive another 5,000 towards the end of this week or early next week. That'll be confirmed on tomorrow's weekly fill import call. It seems at this point with the weather that the threat of disruptive snowfall events is likely behind us. So that's good that we shouldn't really be fighting the weather too much as we're trying to, finish out phase 1B. It's really just locating, another 30,000 yards, give or take, of material, and either getting it stockpiled or getting it imported so that we can finish out that portion of the project. In other news, so we had a kickoff meeting between the LDC, the village, and the design team early last week to basically kick off phases 2 and 3, where we discussed, the critical path items, what the specific project goals and schedule outline are roughly, with future meetings that'll be held on a monthly or by milestone basis with the project team to keep everyone, marching in the right direction and on track to get to construction, hopefully by the end of this year. Just a recap of the overall scope of what phase 2 and the site work portion of phase 3 include is an update to the overall site plan, a conditional letter of map revision, which will correct the FEMA flood maps on the east parcel, site-wide stormwater design and closed drainage for the roadways and DPW, which includes.
Dan, I'm sorry, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go back to that FEMA issue. Is that where it was like 17 feet and WSP basically said, no, that's kind of crazy and really is something lower? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
Correcting
exactly.
the FEMA? So what is the actual level for, that WSP believes is appropriate as opposed to the FEMA number?
It likely will come down by somewhere in the ballpark of about 4, maybe even 5 feet. It depends on, there's still a little bit of analysis they have to do, based on the rough grading that they have currently on the site.
Right.
But with that base flood elevation of, or the 100-year flood elevation of about that 17-foot mark,
Right.
that's where we were designing the DPW at a finished floor elevation of 19.
Right.
So if that comes down, we're talking, it could be 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that
Gotcha.
range. And that's going to allow us to, import less fill to the site, shorten
Right.
up, the settlement period for phase 1B,
Right.
and it'll have cost and time savings, throughout the remainder of the project.
And if we go to ultimately do we have to get this done, right? Just generally speaking, we have to rectify this error by FEMA here?
Uh,
Because if we don't, wouldn't we have problems later with insurance and stuff like that, or
Well, no,
other?
I mean,
No?
technically, the way that everything was designed, at least with the DPW, we took into account that if these corrections to the FEMA flood map, were not investigated or followed through on, we could essentially, complete the project. It's just that everything is going to
Okay.
be, it's overly conservative, I guess, if you think of it that way.
Okay.
And especially given where we're at, just the delays that we experienced on the Phase 1B project, mostly due to COVID, in order to try and gain a little bit of ground back,
Gotcha.
it becomes more of a necessity now.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for taking the time on that.
Right. So, tied to that is the overall master SWIP for the project, for the stormwater design, drainage design for more or less the entire site. The site-wide infrastructure improvements are tied to the overall rough grading of the site, meaning when we take the excess fill off the top of the surcharge pile where the DPW is going to be and redistribute that in the buffer areas and things like that. The roadway improvements for Continental Street, to Road A through the site all the way out to Beekman Ave as part of the Clinton Street extension, including some sidewalks, curbing, guide rail as applicable. Retaining wall analysis and design adjacent to the DPW and the former viaduct. Slope stability analysis and remediation adjacent to the DPW areas. And coordination with village consultants for both improvements at DeVries Park and analysis of existing DPW operations. Some of the early action items that are being performed as part of this Phase 2 site work are cut fill analysis, which is partially based off, hold on one second. Hey, buddy, thank you. Sorry about that. Cut fill analysis based on the lowered base flood elevation for the DPW to make sure that as a result of reducing the total amount of fill brought into the site, that we're still going to have enough to deposit elsewhere once the settlement period is complete. Meaning, if it turns out that, we have a need for 30,000 to complete the surcharge program, but 35,000 to balance cut and fill on the site, through the progression of the remaining phases, we obviously want to just take the extra, week or two now to import that fill versus having to kind of restart that operation later when the time comes. 30% construction cost estimates for the Phase 2 and 3 site work. The right-of-way acquisition process for the Clinton Street extension, and planning board approval process, so that we can get these site improvements approved and allow us to get the project through to construction by the end of the year. So any questions on Phase 2 and 3 work?
None by me, thank you.
Sorry about that. I've got kids running around with all the toys that make noise.
I see one of them down on the site down there. You may want to. He's down there on the east parcel.
So yeah, if there's no questions
No,
on Phase 2,
Let's keep going.
okay. Then we've got as far as the east parcel viaduct. Again, spring weather ahead. Ideally the threat of winter storms and having to go out there and clear the deck or take preventative maintenance is behind us. The entry permit and insurance are just making the rounds through Metro North legal. So we don't have a timeline from them on when that's going to be approved. Though we are coordinating a site visit for later this week to just get through the process and and determine the force account. So that hopefully when that combined with the entry permit, coming back from Metro North Legal, Cortese will be ready to, commence the work as soon as they get the word. And that's pretty much everything I have for the general consultant report.
Awesome,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Any old business or new business from folks? I have nothing. We are gonna go into an exec session to discuss some contract negotiations in a legal matter.
Motion to go into exec session to discuss legal and contract matters.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. I don't think we'll be making any decisions in exec, so Joanne, we'll see you later.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Aaron.
Good night, Joanne.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.
Mike Lavoy, let us know.
Bye,
when,
John.
Bye.